Hello everyone and welcome back to the Random Championship Series Gold Knights Golden Under Tournament for today, I keep saying Saturday, I don't know what's wrong with my brain. Saturday, February the 14th. My name is Streeple and I'm casting alongside Sword of Lightning. How are you doing tonight, Sword? Oh, you're actually muted again, bud. Sorry there. Well, hopefully we're getting you back here in a
Numero
second.
uno
There we go.
seconds.
There we
I'm
go.
okay now. So I was just saying it's fantastic. I was watching two great games, I'm right after LCS, and I'm ready to go down for this third semifinal game. Already six bans on both, or three bans on both sides, six bans in total. Ari, Cass, and Lissandra on are the ban choices for No Valentine Club, and on the side of Kappa, we see Annie, Fiddlesticks, Nar, and I'm assuming that they watched game one and game two because those are all targeted bans on the side of Kappa here.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely target bans coming out. Don't want to see Miss Snow on Annie or McPoop Stain on Fiddlesticks again. That wombo combo of AoE from AP damage was crazy for them. And even though they banned the Gnar, they just had to pick up the J4 as well, one of the stronger junglers right now. But the interesting thing is they picked the J4 into the Janna, which Janna is pretty much a counter to J4.
I feel as if they feel like they just want those good lanes, right? They want to get going. Maybe not for their bot lane. Janna will be kind of in lane till about level 7, but in the other lanes, mid lane and top lane, J4 will be open for those ganks. So maybe he's looking to get somebody ahead there. Maybe shut down Miss No, or who knows, maybe even shut down Fnatic.
Yeah, very true. J4 is a decent scaling jungler as well, and he can also have those really strong early ganks with his EQ combo. So he's a great kind of all-around jungler, and really a strong pick right now. So I don't mind it against the Janna, but it is a little weird for me to see a team, the Instalock Janna are like, hey, we want the disengage right away, we're building our comp around this, and you Instalock hard engage like that, or not even hard engage, but engage rather, that can get blown away by Janna. So I don't like it that much, but it's not going to be that big of a deal. When you've got the Orianna as well as the J4, that combo is going to be strong for you regardless of what's happening, and we might just see Janna get blown up before she can pop her spells anyways.
Yeah, that is very true, especially with the Orianna in the mix there. She is also a scaling mid lane champion, and her shockwave can change team fights, especially her burst. If she gets ahead, like we saw, she can do quite a significant amount of damage. But in response, we see Miss Snow onto Syndra being able to burst, I would say, harder than almost any other champion in the game with her Unleashed Power ultimate. And she also has pretty good CC with her E being able to stun multiple enemies at once. And McPoop gonna be on his most preferred second jungler, that Pantheon, being able to roam around the map with that Grand Skyfall, and not just that, being able to go for those level 2 ganks, just like J4, looking for a more gank heavy jungler.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of that Pantheon. I personally like to ban it out when I play ranked. I don't like to play against it. I say this every time, but I feel like it's really important is that when you're playing against a Pantheon, you really have to worry about pushing up in your lane. Once he hits level 6, he can just ult behind you if you're pushed up too far in lane and kind of trap you out of position. So you have to be very careful about how you play those lane matchups and can really, even if he doesn't kind of ult, can still provide some sort of kind of threat, I guess. Even if he's not there, if he's not ulting, it still kind of has it in the back of your mind, like, I can't go up too far. I might see a circle behind me, and then Pantheon's coming the next second. But I like that pickup for Syndra. Miss Snow in the mid lane right there. It will be kind of an even matchup against Orianna. Syndra has a little bit more kill potential, but I think that Orianna will be fine. I like the 2v2 combo of Syndra Pantheon more than J4 Ori, but I like Ori J4 more in team fights than I do the lane kind of dominance of Syndra and Pantheon.
And something now, we look at the bot lane for Kappa, we see that Jinx is going to be chosen, and Thresh. Jinx isn't really an AD carry famous, I would say, in this meta, just because she doesn't have that many escapes. J4 has a dash, Kalista has her auto attack move built into her kit, and then you have on top of that, Lucian has a dash of his own, but she does have a lot of damage and a lot of burst, and the rush with the lantern is the escape that may be needed, but we see Zamo going for that Vayne. He's feeling a little bit of Piglet in himself, some Gosu, so we'll see how that works out with, especially with the Janna. I don't really kind of like it, in my opinion. I like my Vayne, when I play Vayne, I like it more with the Thresh, being able to kind of flay somebody more towards Vayne, and maybe Vayne being able to kind of condemn them into a wall is exactly what I like to do, and it's such a great feeling because Thresh kind of synergizes so well with Vayne. But in the end, we'll see Janna for the more survivability in lane, which is, I would say, Vayne's weakness. She can't really survive in lane that much just because of the fact that she is a little weaker in the early levels, but once she hits that final hours ultimate, which is when she reaches level 6, she is able to do quite a bit of damage, make quite a bit of outplays. Now, the final pick actually getting chosen for No Valentine Club will be the Mundo, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, and actually, I don't mind that pickup. Mundo not seen that much competitive play. Of course, Shy still playing him over in Korea just because he's a monster on that champion. But Mundo, I still think is a good pick. Not as great as before because everyone's building Morello Nomicons nowadays. The increase in price going to kind of tip that off a little bit more, so it's not too bad to pick that Mundo. But I like the fact, the main thing that I like about this is the scaling. Mundo scales like a monster. He is a hyper tank, and Vayne is a hyper carry. So having a hyper tank and a hyper carry on the same team, having the disengage from Janna to keep your team safe until you can scale, I really like that. So even though, like you were mentioning, you like a little bit more aggressive potential from a lane, a synergized support there with the Vayne, I like the Janna because it's going to keep Vayne safe until she can scale into late game, where she can kill anyone she wants to. But having an Aurelia jump on Vayne is going to be really rough. So that makes the Janna even more important because Aurelia is a squishy killer basically. She will stick to you and never let you go. As I mentioned before, I banned Pantheon in ranked. Aurelia is another one I ban because she is so annoying to deal with when you're an AD carry. We saw that today in the CLG game in NALCS where I believe Doublelift was playing Jinx and he just got jumped on time again by that Aurelia just over and over again, and she just sticks to you like glue. So I think Vayne's gonna have trouble with that. Gonna have to stay buddy buddy with Janet to keep herself safe.
Yeah, and actually something else that I want to talk about is the lane matchup for top lane is going to be more in favor of that Aurelia, of course. She does have the true damage built into her kit with her W, anti-style something with regard to that, and she's able to kind of deal more and more damage as she goes along, upgrading it. I usually go with my Aurelia. I upgrade Equilibrium Strike, so there is more potential for ganks, and you can lock down somebody a lot longer, as well as then go with W because again, the true damage is so strong, and the healing factor that you get back from it is also very strong. Now she's picking up Ignite with that, which is also, I would say, a smart choice. Two Ignite on the side actually of Kappa, and the reason why I like this Ignite, you have a Mundo on the other side. He needs that grievous wound, so he can't heal up that much with his ultimate. His ultimate will make him so tanky, and he's going to be able to go in the face of the enemy and say, "Hey, I'm a Mundo. I can tank up as much as you guys want me to." But at the end of the day, if you have an Ignite that you use top lane or mid lane, and then it's like, "Oh no, we're out of Ignite," it's you had that secondary option. You're like, "Nope, I do have another Ignite." Or Oriana can pick up that Morello like you're talking about and be like, "Hey, I do have the grievous wound somehow, so it's okay. We got it. No worries." And again, I just like the solid pickup by Kappa there, but the Aurelia just such a strong laner in the top lane.
Yeah, they have the team comp to shut down No Valentine Club. They have a mid-game spiking team comp where once they hit the mid-game there, they got the Triforce on Aurelia, they group up as a team, get the 5v5 wombo combo going before Vayne can scale, before Mundo can scale. I would really actually like to see No Valentine Club lane swap this game. Mundo's really good in a 1v2, and it'll shut down the Aurelia. It will not let Aurelia get to her power spike, her mid game spike of that Triforce, delay that as much as possible, allow your AD carry and your top lane tank to scale. I'd love to see the lane swap, have them move around the map because you can't follow the rotations when you don't have a teleport with your top laner. You're always going to be a step behind. They need to abuse the fact that they don't have a teleport for Kappa, but like you said, the Ignite's going to be really strong in a 1v1 lane against Mundo, so that's why I like to see them swap and abuse the fact that the side of Kappa, the purple side, does not have a teleport, make Aurelia's life really hard, 1v2 lane swap this.
It is not even just that. I have to agree with you. I would love to see a lane swap here, not because of the Aurelia, more because of the aggressive lane on the side of Kappa. Look, it's a Jinx Thresh, a lot of early damage coming out from them, especially with that minigun. If you hit the same person up to 3 times, or if you hit anybody up to 3 times before the timer reaches 0, then she gets increased attack speed. She gets to put a lot more AD and hurt onto somebody a lot faster. And I mean, Vayne will just have a hard time surviving in that lane, having to dodge hooks and flays, having to be able to kind of out of the range, sorry, of Pow Pow, which is the rocket launcher that Jinx has. And I mean, from there, she'll have such an easier time with Aurelia. And like you said it before, Aurelia has no teleport, so they're able to kind of abuse that as well. Monday being able to have also a much easier time in that 1v2. So I do agree with you with that. And from there, I actually want to say, who do you feel like has more of the edge jungler wise? Do you say Pantheon kind of does because he's able to roam a lot more with that Grand Skyfall? Or would you say J4 because of the lockdown that Cataclysm brings?
I feel like the lockdown or the Cataclysm brings is going to be entirely negated by Janna if she's there for the fight. If she's not there for the fight, then J4 is going to be trapping Syndra, Vayne, everybody. Everybody can't get out of the Cataclysm unless Janna's there to either push J4 back or whoever else is in there with him, push them back and keep his team safe. So I think J4 will have more of an impact if Janna's not allowed to kind of keep him at bay. If Janna's not there or misplays it or dies first, gets picked somehow, J4 will be a monster in these team fights and will lock down people inside of that rage cage. But Pantheon could also just stomp some people. We mentioned before, Jinx has very little way in terms of kind of escape. She's got her traps, and that's about it. If Pantheon gets a good jump on her, gets the stun down, her team trails damage on top of that, Jinx could get blown up immediately. So it really is going to come down, I feel, to, like I said before in the beginning, it's weird to pick J4 into a Janna, and that's what I feel like it's going to kind of come down to. Can Janna keep the J4 at bay, negate his engage? And if they can do that, then Kappa will have a real tough time in these team fights, and No Valentine Club should be able to clean up, but they're really going to have to just delay, and wait until their team scales. Kappa has way more ways to win this game early, and that's what No Valentine Club needs to be afraid of. So don't make too many aggressive plays. Just be safe. Just allow the game to progress slowly.
Exactly, and that means they can't kind of freak out. They need to kind of rely if there's strong rotations that we've seen in the last few games, and not just that, they need to realize, just like before, they have their game sense, like, hey, we're not strong enough yet, let's farm up a little bit more. Let's kind of get to that strong phase and then go from there. And that's kind of the game sense you need in these situations, especially with a late game comp. You need to be able to have that game sense and say, you know what, we are behind. You know what, we are a little bit behind in objectives or something, or later game team comp. We just need to kind of go from there and just scale up to where we need to be scaled up and just kind of finish it on top in those later game team fights. It doesn't matter that we're losing towers or objectives from here. We just need to survive to the late game. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, and actually some weird ward placements coming out at level 1, to be honest. The blue side No Valentine Club, two of those wards there, I mean, I know one of them was kind of just to walk up and be safe, but you don't need to throw that on the island brush right there. Also, the other one, kind of on the outskirts of the enemy red there, on the red side red buff, you don't really need to place that one either. You can kind of walk up into it. I'm sure they were afraid of the level 1-5 people being there, but they're not going to be there at level 1. You need to place the ward to let you know where the jungler is coming from. Mundo trying to snipe an axe there on Aurelia, but those two wards don't really let you know where the jungler is. Mundo walking in there to kind of let you know that he's not chilling by the Krugs lets you know, but I really would have liked to see them place a ward on the red buff or over the Krug wall, something like that. The two that they have placed right there are a little bit inefficient in terms of vision, and it's the same kind of thing for the side of Kappa. There was no one blocking that. As you can see, Orianna walking away from that entrance right there. There was nobody for No Valentine Club guarding that entrance. They could have got easy deep ward vision, letting them know that Pantheon is starting top lane and is not going to be at the bot side of the map, possibly early J4 gank at level 2. But you know what? There's no kind of information really for either side right now, so they're just going to play it safe, and that plays to the side of No Valentine Club, rather.
Yeah, and I mean, as well, from there, you have to take into account that if you look, that since J4 was able to kind of start bot side, he kind of let it so that Jinx and Thresh weren't able to put more early aggressive right away into the lane, which is kind of a loss for them, I would say, just because now they are able to get a little bit of free XP. They're able to get the push in their favor, but you can just see that that's not even a problem. Jinx is putting down a lot of kind of pressure and damage down with that rocket launcher of hers.
Yeah, no, there's two things I'm worried about for the bot lane there. Like you said, it was kind of a little bit of a delay, so they're not going to be able to hit level 2 first, Jinx and Thresh that is, and just jump onto Janna and Vayne. They might still be able to do it with the zoning they're doing right here, but Thresh opted for the Ancient Coin first, which I don't like. I like having more combat stats first, especially in a matchup like this, where you're going to be trying to want to impose your will early, but it will allow him to throw out more hooks and kind of keep him at bay, and that seems to be the strategy of Kappa's bot lane right now, is instead of just trying to engage and get kills on them, just zone them out and just starve them for CS, which they're doing a great job of for right now. And in that case, the Ancient Coin's actually a good pickup, but if they get the kill potential, Thresh won't have the combat stats to stay alive. Janna actually has way more combat stats with that Spell Thief's Edge right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to make her shield stronger, which will make it be able so that Jinx can have more damage absorbed into her. And I mean, it's not just that, the extra AD is very, very useful for last hitting under towers and just trade damage.
Oh.
But again, Jinx is playing this very well with Thresh, putting down maximum amount of damage, but Pantheon's coming in from behind.
Pantheon actually hops over the traps and gets flayed into them right there, and this is what I was nervous about, is Pantheon is so good at getting these lane ganks off, but there's the flash forward by Vayne. Vayne should be able to pick up this kill because she has that passive. No! Beautiful flash play from Thresh, but this might be Thresh's life. There's the condemn into the wall, pop a ward in there. They should be able to pick up the kill. I don't know if they have enough damage though. Vayne's actually walking backwards. Oh, jukes the hook. What a play by Vayne. I was like, she's going back a little bit. I don't know why she's doing that, but it was all just to bait the hook out and tumble forward to pick up the kill. So really good job there by Thresh saving his AD carry, but that's going to be a kill for Vayne. That's not what you want.
And it's not even just that. Vayne gets free farm in the bot lane now, making it more easier for her. She'll get more levels, but Aurelia with the roam.
Oh, I love that flash, and then you do the stun knockback. Good play by Miss Snow. The Ignite's going to be burned from Aurelia right there, and Mundo will have time to free farm in top, which is not going to be that big of a deal because Aurelia was bullying him early, but still, good gank. And now there's a flash burned in mid lane, and now J4 might try and clean up on that later.
Exactly, and he is already in the enemy topside jungle, so he will be able to rotate, actually putting a nice ward there to spot out where Pantheon will be around. So this will kind of help him kind of telepath where he's going to gank, you know, go towards top, go towards bot. Wherever Pantheon is, that's where I'm going to go and kind of roam around more. And it looks like he's just going to kill the Scuttle Crab for now. But looking more kind of at the farm, we see that the farm is actually in favor of Orianna, just because of the fact that she's able to use that ball control to kind of zone out and do a lot more damage to Syndra. Where like Syndra just has to take it until she hits level 6, you know, maybe gets that Chalice of Harmony, so she gets a little bit of, helps with her mana problem, and not just even that, a little bit of magic resist added to that as well. But I don't know, we're gonna have to see J4 and Pantheon kind of hovering in this mid lane.
Yeah, Pantheon jumping back because J4 is trying to counter jungle a bit right now. He does have that that little kind of ghost out there because he did smite on the Raptor there. But he will be able to push J4 over the wall. Mundo roaming down actually, but it'll be spotted out by the sweeper, or the Scuttle Crab rather there. But as we were mentioning there, the CS differential in mid lane, one of the things that we forgot to mention in Champion Select is that a couple patches ago, Syndra's Q was pretty heavily nerfed, making her lane phase not nearly as strong as it used to be. She used to be pretty much unbeatable in lane unless you had jungler help or unless you kind of screwed up royally. Her kit was just so strong, but now it is not the same as it used to be. So someone like an Orianna actually can hold her own in mid lane where Syndra used to be able to just bully her out.
Yeah, and from there we can just, like you were saying before, with regards to her farm, it shows that exactly. And instead of actually probably going for that challenge, she's most likely kind of maybe going for a
the Morellos?
maybe she's going for the Morello, maybe possibly. I don't know yet. But actually, as well, something I want to talk about is bot lane. Look at bot lane. We talked about how the kill in favor of Vayne will kind of get her to kind of skill even better in that lane. She got alone with that farm. She got that first blood as well. But it seems as if that's not really making quite a bit of as much of an effort. So we're going to see the Pantheon come in from behind now instead and try to make a little bit of effort to put that lane more in Vayne's favor.
Oh, nice lantern from Thresh there. There's the traps as well. He hops over the traps again, gets flayed in the traps again. Gonna be some cannon shots. Oh, and the hook on a Vayne. Vayne, you don't want to be the front line there when those things are happening. Good trade damage. Cannon hitting all three of them. Don't stack up when there's a jinx for the cannon. J4 is coming out. There's the exhaust on McPoopstain's actually super aggressive right now. Exhausted and condemned into the wall is Jinx there in the back, but Vayne needs to be careful. Here comes J4. Actually gets hooked. Ooh. Killed by the EQ combo. A spear right into Vayne's backside. Syndra is there trying to make a play, but Ori's coming from the mid down the river as well, and actually might try and meet Syndra here. We'll see what they do. Yeah, Syndra might kind of collide with Ori right here. This could be dangerous. Ori's got the combo, and there it is right there. Ops the Ignite. There's the EQ over the wall, and the ultimate finishes her off. That was just so clean kill.
Exactly, and it was the ward. It's all about that ward in that tri-bush. Able to spot out Syndra. Said, here, Syndra's here. Let's go from around. J4 is like, I'm right here. We can do this very nice and clean and perfectly. And they get a dragon off this. So great rotation skills by Kappa here. And they're just kind of going through what we saw before from Valentine. They're making these nice rotations, these nice kind of things that you usually don't see. Mid lane going towards, or top lane going towards the mid lane. Mid lane roaming down a little bit more. J4 kind of hovering around and jungling a little bit more instead of going for gank, 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 which is good to see because Pantheon's trying to do that right now and mostly towards the bot lane to get that being ahead, like again as we've been seeing, and it hasn't really been playing off a lot of success because Thresh is able to get himself in the right position and allow Jinx to take the lantern and get away safely is exactly how you need to play that bot lane, and they're playing it, I must say, very perfectly up to the point where they did give up first blood.
Yeah, and that entire fight, that entire skirmish, whatever you want to call it, just a little while ago, Vayne was still just sitting on a Doran's Blade right there. She had the kill, but she hadn't spent any of that money, where Jinx had a couple Doran's Blades she was sitting on. So even though Jinx was actually behind and had almost been killed before Vayne was sitting on a kill, she was still pretty much double the items that Vayne had right there. So there's no reason to have that Pantheon come and try and gank until you get those items. There's the hook on a Vayne. That might be a third kill. She gets trapped. And the cannons actually, Jinx needs to turn, stop using cannons right there, just turn to the minigun, stop using, there you go, turn to the minigun for point blank, and then use the cannons for long range, and she should be able to pick up this kill with the zap there. Yep, that's exactly what I was hoping for. And Janna, unfortunately, does not flash the zap or anything, which she needs to do. She needs to either juke or flash the zap, or else she was dead right there. Great play by Jinx, taking control of this lane, and I want to go back to this again. Vayne had a kill, didn't spend her money, and they tried to fight again. Let her go back, spend that money, and then you can try and make a play, but overall, just stop fighting. Let your team scale.
Exactly, and we see Mundo actually going onto Aurelia towards this top lane, landing a lot of cleavers.
That last cleaver right there, right before he hit the minions, was actually really clutch. There's Aurelia flashing away. Mundo might die this note. Actually, yeah, he picks it up with the axe over the side. Oh, and actually, J4 gets away, flashes away from the stun coming back from Syndra, and that is going to be a free kill on Pantheon. And this is exactly what Kappa needs right now. They need to pull ahead in the lead, because later this game goes, the more Vayne is going to be a monster, and the more Mundo is going to become unkillable. So push your lead right now and take some things.
Very kind of nice warding actually by the side of Kappa as well. If you look on the map, they do have a little bit of wards. They have timed out a little bit, but they had a lot of wards in the enemy jungle, which was able to spot out Pantheon, and that's just J4 being able to use his jungles and say, we can go for this. But Orianna with the burst in the mid lane.
Syndra actually has her ultimate. I'm not sure why she didn't use it right there. Pantheon jumping in. She has to be really careful, but McPoofstains picks it up anyway. Syndra holding on to her ultimate, uses the flash and ignite. Good job using the ult tumble there from Vayne. And oh no! Janna actually, Janna trying to block it actually killed Vayne right there. I think Vayne would have gotten missed by that. That's really unfortunate. Janna trying to be helpful, doing the I'm helping, and kills her AD carry. That's unfortunate.
And it looks like actually the bot lane is going completely the opposite direction of Valentine Club wants it to go. And Vayne with that attack speed steroid again with her minigun is going to be able to take down this tower with ease. Nice hooks, I must say, by Artemis on that Thresh. He's been landing hook after hook after hook and lantering perfectly nice position again, like I've been saying before, and I must say I am very thoroughly impressed. I didn't think he would do so well on this Thresh, but again, he's showing up on this Thresh.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game there, the one death that Thresh actually has, the one death that Artemis has, was because he flashed to flay and save his Jinx. And now that Jinx is 3-0-1, you look back on that play and go, wow, that was actually really worth it. Kept Jinx alive, allowed her to continue farming, got her to pick up that second Doran's Blade, and that's really what turned everything in the end. They got some kills on top of that, and turned the lane around from a 1-0-0 Vayne into a 3-0-1 Jinx, 1-3-0 Vayne. Great turnaround by Kappa, and really, to be honest, it was actually no Valentine Club shooting themselves in a bit, forcing some over-aggression when they didn't have the clear advantage yet.
Yeah, and look at the gold lead down 3k, in favor of Kappa as well. They're able to rotation. We talked about how, let's see if this Mundo can use this teleport effectively, but it doesn't look like he's been able to actually teleport a lot. He's been able to kind of just do nothing except try to keep Aurelia top, but it's not even just that fact, it's the fact that everything else but J4 is going for the Mundo instead.
And Mundo does have his ultimate, pops it, but I was going to say he popped it a little bit too late right there and burns his flash as well. That's really unfortunate right there. Mundo, you want to pop that ultimate pretty darn early. Tried to use it as a bait, but you need to pop it because it's not one of those things where you just hit it and you get health back. It's a slow regeneration process, and when you're getting bursted by an Aurelia and a J4, it's not going to be too much fun. You got to get that ticking sooner. Unfortunately, burns 2 of his cooldowns. Whoa, Vayne gonna try and 1v1 in the bot lane here, actually. Thresh coming from the side there. I was gonna say, Vayne needs to be super careful. There's the Pantheon ult as well, condemns, but not into the wall. Oh no, Thresh actually hooks onto the, well, good, Jinx stays alive. Great exhaust, great play from Thresh actually. Hooks the Vayne and then exhausts the Pantheon. They're not gonna be able to get the kill there, unfortunately. Oh, there's the exhaust coming onto Jinx, but Jinx might stay alive, gets pushed forward by the Monsoon. Oh, Vayne is just standing in the healing right there, getting her alive and allowing Jinx to go down right there. 3-3-0 now for Vayne, so she's coming back in the game here. That was a great play by Pantheon and a great job to survive. Artemis tried to do his best though to keep his AD carry alive.
Pantheon actually waiting in the shadows to kind of do that ult as well. He was expecting that to happen. He saw Vayne there and he's like, you know what, I'm going to help out my AD carry as well, try to see what we can do. And yes, Thresh played that excellently, but at the same time, that is a Pantheon, that is a Vayne, and you had Janna coming in from around. They were able to just kind of make those clutch heals needed to keep everybody alive. And at the end of the day, 2 for 0 in favor of Valentine Club, and those 2 kills were given to Vayne too, the person who was most behind. Now she's practically back in the game. I must say she's a little bit behind in farm, but she's back in the game, and Thresh looking for some sort of play now.
Yeah, the zap not going to land there on Janna, unfortunately. I think he was hoping for Janna to juke into that. But it's what we mentioned before, the Pantheon. If you push too far up in lane, he'll ult behind you, and then you're just going to go down. Who cares how far ahead you are? Unfortunately, Jinx going down there, getting killed, bringing her deaths up to #1. And whoa, McPoosies actually gets caught by the ultimate. The Ignite is going to be enough. Organic Jock Bar doing so well. Miss Jones, Miss Snow trying to juke there, but unfortunately gets blown up. A bunch of ults burned, but it will be 2 people down. And the Dragon is live right now. Mundo has a TP. Sorry, he doesn't have a TP rather. So it should be a free Dragon. Dragon #2 going over to Kappa. Tornado might try and steal.
Oh no, no Janna steal with the tornado today. But even with that teleport Mundo would have, that would be suicide, I would say, in my opinion. It would not be something you want to do, because that also gives Aurelia a free push top lane, and Aurelia does have that face, she does have that sheen, she can push that turret very, very, very fast. And as well, it looks like Mundo's putting a lot of pressure, but Thresh for the flash flay, he's going on the Vayne.
Oh yeah, he tries to condemn away Jinx, but unfortunately... Oh, actually, no, he doesn't even get the kill on Thresh. Thresh might get away from this. We'll be able to jump up in time. No! Oh my goodness! He's staying alive from that overall, and here comes J4. J4 and Pantheon actually jump right past each other, but Panth is going to leave Janna to die right here. There's the ultimate. The juke, though. J4 should be able to pick up the kill, uses the Dragon Strike, and that's a dead Janna. And I was going to say, J4 needs to be careful right there, and he's going to go down, shut down onto Miss Snow, getting her back in the game here as she is way behind her counterpart, Orianna.
And something I want to, again, say, the rotations by this side of the other team. I mean, they're so perfectly on point. Kappa just always out-rotating Valentine Club. We saw that before in the other games, how Valentine Club was just out-rotating every other team. But you see, you know, one outplay after another. This Thresh, the main source, I would say, of these outplays, landing hook after hook, doing these nice flashy plays, and as well, Orianna kind of helping her out. Yes, we saw that Thresh was making this nice play, J4 following up, but it wasn't just that. Orianna rotated top, helped Aurelia, and they killed Mundo. That's just great team synergy right there, and that's slowly what's winning them the game, honestly. They're just out-rotating in the team synergy, the communication's there. Where like for Valentine Club, they were behind early and they keep slowly falling behind because of all these rotations happening. And it's because of their lack of wards, I find, in the right position right now. They have a lot of defensive wards, not too many aggressive wards, which is causing it so that they can't see these rotations happening. So I feel like they need to put down these wards and play a little bit more safe. Instead of going to farm past the river, they should be waiting for the farm to get more towards them and then take the farm from there, because they're making very dangerous plays right now. Maybe not plays, but they're making very dangerous mistakes that will cost them the game, like how it is right now.
And that is exactly why you need to manage your waves. You want to have the wave push into you and then freeze it in a safe spot so you can farm safely, which is what Vayne wants right now. Now, one of the things that can happen is when you do have a 1v2 situation like that, like Thresh and Jinx are bottom against Vayne there, you can send people elsewhere and say, send Pantheon to try and gank Orianna right now. Send your outnumber advantage elsewhere. But unfortunately right now, because Jinx and Thresh are so strong, they need to send someone to defend. And unfortunately also, Vayne doesn't have the best wave clear as well, so she can't hold up on her own right now.
And right now we see Orianna actually going for a rotation, possibly. Actually, she looks like she may be waiting for Syndra. The ward gonna spot her out, but it looks like top lane, the duo synergy from the jungler and top are gonna go on to Mundo.
Mundo immediately flashes and burns his ultimate a little bit sooner this time, but unfortunately it was too little too late. Burns the flash as well, and it has been Mundo, unfortunately, burning his ultimate and his flash and going down both times so far.
Wow, and now Pantheon out of position. Nice box by Thresh, and they're going on to this Pantheon.
Wow, actually picks up the kill right there, and that is going to be a dead jungler. The exhaust on a Miss Snow. Miss Snow walks in there with no mana, unfortunately. The ball actually going a weird direction, but it does do the damage to Miss Snow. There's the ult by Janna, but Janna's going to get pulled back for her trouble. Oh no, tried to save her teammate, and it's going to be a double kill for Organic Jock Bar. Vayne is going to be safe here, but she's just going to have to lick her wounds and walk back to base. Can't even wave clear and defend this turret.
Beautiful job by the bot, or the synergy again from Kappa, their mid laner and their 2 bot lane companions. You saw that, yes, it looked like a 4v2 and then a 4v3, but in the end, the Rush, great position again. Put the box down, then put down the hook. the Flay to kind of finish it off. Jinx was safe this whole time, and it was just because Pantheon was too far ahead of his team. If he stayed more with his team, they would have had a better chance. And now we see Fnatic just going for organic in this top lane, trying to go for some cleavers, and Poop just stopping those backs.
I like how McPoopstain just decided to throw the spear and stop the back, but whoa, it really actually gets caught somehow. I'm not sure how that ended up, because Mundo was chasing her the longest time, and she looked to be okay, but that's going to be a kill there from Mundo. I'm not sure exactly how that happened, and Aurelia has Triforce as well.
Yeah, and from there, it looks like J4 is going to try to do what Aurelia couldn't possibly, but instead he's going to decide to just put a ward and back off. Now, something else that I want to talk about is just the fact that if you look at who has what right now, we see that on the side of Valentine's that they have no dragons. On the side of Kappa, they do have 2 dragons, and with this next dragon coming up, I feel like they need to contest this. And the first step, again, like I said, they need these wards. If you look at Kappa, Kappa's starting to put those deep wards down, and they're probably going to rotate towards this dragon pit. Now, look at Jinx, he's already clearing this bot, or he's taking the blue buff, and J4 is in the vicinity.
Just be careful, though.
That is true. Vayne's going for the outplay.
Oh wow, the Condemn was not in range to pin her against the wall and get the stun. If she had gotten that stun, she could have won that duel, but the Jinx just barely too far forward, doesn't get the stun, and Jinx is going to win that trade every time when you don't land the Condemn.
And instead of going for wards now, they just know that they are able to push up this bot lane and take more farm and deny and push this lane more in their favor. But it looks like Thresh is trying to kind of go for blood, possibly try to get somebody. Miss No gonna try to pick out somebody though with maybe one of her stunts.
No, Valentine Club needs to just stop fighting. I'm really not sure why Zombrio is, oh wow, and that's gonna be the hook as well as the zap. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about, is just don't fight. You can't be anywhere in your own jungle, you can't be anywhere unsafe, just be with your team, be farming underneath your turret. You can't be fighting whatsoever right now, because Kappa is just gaining more and more of a lead, and that's what they need to do. They need to end this game before it reaches late game, and right now they're in prime position to start doing that.
Exactly, and we see right now actually that Fnatic is going for organic. Organic's making all these fancy plays right now, and Artemis is there. He's gonna probably try to land a hook and a flay, but instead he decides to back off, seeing Poop there. And now we see 4-man strong in this top lane or wave in their kind of vicinity as well, and a late rotation from Vayne right now. This is gonna be a bit of damage already in this top lane tower.
Orianna seems to be AFK or DC'd or something, so this is a perfect time for No Valentine Club to try and make a move. It looks like they're going to do that. There's the EQ onto Vayne, though. Vayne's in the front line. What is she doing? Oh no, she goes down right away. And that's pretty much the fight's over at this point. Janna getting pulled forward, has to flash backwards. And wow, Orianna's finally back in action here, but that is really just unfortunate positioning by Zombrio. Didn't pop his ultimate or either summoner in that fight.
Not just that, she didn't even use her pork, and now J4 is going to try to go into Janna. Janna's going to be able to get away scot-free. And now we see the Orianna split push come in. She's going to put some more pressure on her own. And look at that burst. Half of Syndra's health gone already. And that's going to be a top lane gone almost. But the Wombo might be coming down.
Yeah, and actually, if you can hook over this wall, gets him right before. I would have been so impressed with Artemis if he had actually made that play. Jinx needs to be super safe right now because there's the speed up. The Mundo ultimate also gives him some movement speed. If he lands one cleaver, she might go down. Here's Orianna trying back up right now. Can he land the ultimate? Let's see if he has it up. No, he's going to stay safe right now, not go for a Ignite or anything. There's the ultimate to finally pull him back. Does not opt to go anything. Pantheon is going to be able to jump on him. Will he flash forward after that? Does not have his flash up here. He does. No, he doesn't. Sorry, he used it earlier in that fight. Jinx trying to run for her life right now. Misses the zap, unfortunately. Uses the scrying orb. Oh, the machete does not land. No, the stun doesn't land either. Jinx is going to try and run around. Orianna's still
is coming in the mix now.
Oh, actually tumbled into the wall there. Oh, there's the flash forward. This will be a kill there. Vayne's going to pick it up with their passive. Wow, has to burn a flash though. And Mundo going crazy right now, and he's going to go down there to Orianna. Orianna might go down. Does she have the QE? She does, and that will be a dead Orianna. Double kill for Vayne, but in the mid lane, Pantheon goes down as well. Bloodbath all over the map.
And like I was saying before, Aurelia entered the mix and was able to get Pantheon off Orianna. And from there, Orianna was able to pick up the kill to trade.
Vayne.
Now we see that they're going for Vayne. Vayne's being really aggressive, trying to go for her tower.
Yeah, Zombrio is kind of playing Vayne as if it's like a late game Vayne with 6 items and you're this most fed person in the game. I know Vayne's amazing in 1v2 scenarios and it's probably the best like 1v5 champ in the game, but when you're this far behind, when you have a late game scaling team, just stop trying to make plays, stop trying to be the hero. Literally all you have to do is just wait.
Agreed, and it's just all they have to do with everything. They're all so behind right now, 11k gold behind to be exact, and it's being shown by the farm and not just by the farm. Look at the kill death ratio right now. 7-2-5 on that Jinx, 7-2-1 on that Orianna, and not just that, look at that Thresh, 1-3-11. Very nice scores, and I actually expect to see some sort of rotation to objective or them forcing something, but Aurelia's gonna go on to poop right now.
Yeah, and Aurelia's going to keep chasing this 1v2 right now. She might be able to pick up the kill on Pantheon. There's the ultimate to the side there. Oh, if she gets stunned. No, unfortunately, a little bit of a miss on the angle there. There is the slow from the W from Jan. See if they can speed him up. There's the tornado knockup. There's a flash over the wall, though. Good job. Going to burn the flash, and it's going to be worth it in the end. If she goes back in, she's insane right now. She is absolutely a madman. Gets condemned right into the corner of the wall, and Aurelia's going to go down here. And that's a play that there's just no reason to make, really. Flash from Mundo to get the turret there. Really interesting. He's going to pop the ultimate and kind of run for right now. Orianna should be able to win this duel, I feel. Mundo's ultimate is already ticking down. Once it's off, she should be good to go. She doesn't have her ignite, though. There's a cleaver landing. It's going to be kind of just a dance back and forth, but Orianna should have the speed there. Yep, gets away, and it's going to be fine for right now.
Exactly, and actually while that was happening, we saw the mid lane go down in favor of Kappa right now, and it's not even just them that has to force the objectives. The minions will force the objectives. The minions are slowly pushing, and they're dealing time, but nice hook by Artemis landing on McCoop again.
Yeah, he's doing those flays and hooks at such clutch moments. Pantheon makes the jump and he gets hooked immediately out of there, but oh no, actually, unfortunately, that's one decision that Thresh did not want to make, but the damage from Jinx is just absolutely absurd. There's the ultimate. Miss Snow does not have her flash up to try and dodge that. Jinx is so fed right now, and it's really in big part because of Artemis. Unfortunately there, he tried to hook the Janna, picked up the kill there, but he really should have tried to hook the Vayne rather. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Jinx is more than strong enough, picks up the ace. Once the minions get there, that should be a turret. Nope, and that off, I guess.
That is literally the power of what a great communicated and synergized bot lane can do, and we saw it again. The Rush is just being a madman with those hooks, landing them left, right, and center, doing exactly what he needs to do. And if we look right now, he's going for the Righteous Glory. He's going for the engage, complete, utter engage, because it's not even just that, but while that's happening, a fight's going down towards the inhibitor tower.
And something that I wanted to mention before that I haven't for a long time at this point, probably even 10 minutes. J4 got an early Last Whisper, which is a little bit insane to me. Probably better item choices, to be honest, but he's just going for straight up, I want to murder everyone. I don't want to be a tank. I don't want to be support for my team and set up kills with CC and tankiness in the front. He wants to be the one doing the damage as well. And their whole team is kind of built for that. Even though there's a bit of tankiness in Orianna, a bit of tankiness in J4, a bit of tankiness in Aurelia, they all have ridiculous damage on top of them. So their whole team can kind of play both sides. And they're doing that well right now. I just really have to see Aurelia not go in by herself again, and I really don't know why Jinx didn't take the turret there, to be honest. She got an ace and they had a minion wave. She could have gotten a free mid inhibitor turret.
But a hook laying onto Vayne, and that's going to be a dead Vayne.
Oh, the condemn lands though. But I was gonna say that's actually good though, because it gives the kill over to Thresh, so that's better than Jinx. But really at this point, who cares? The fact that Vayne is dead for 30 seconds is more what they want. But they're gonna get collapsed on right now. They need to stick together, hold some hands during this. There's the ult pop from Mundo. Jinx is gonna be by herself. There's the flash. Oh, and actually Monsoon was actually almost saved Jinx there for a little bit, but she will be burned here. Aurelia just pushing top lane. J4 gonna back off. And when you're trapped in bot lane like that, there's the TP coming up from Mundo to try and hold top lane. But when you're trapped like that in the bot, just push something else. Just push waves elsewhere. You can't help your team there.
Exactly, and it's great kind of positioning and awareness by Valentine Club to say, you know what, they're going to keep trying to go for Vayne. Let's just kind of bully up with Vayne. But wow, Aurelia is getting taken very low by Mundo, but it's the exact same thing. The Pantheon Grand Skyfall is going down.
Oh, the flash jump should be enough with that spear at the end. Actually, I don't know if it will be enough. Does he have it? No, it is. The execute damage is going to be enough to finish her off. Pantheon just barely enough.
Actually, now I want to say, I talked about how the rotations are here, but there goes J4 onto Mundo.
Dunk City, USA, and in the mid lane right there, Vayne going down as well to Orianna. This is a perfect time for Kappa to try and make something happen, even though Aurelia's dead. They've got the hook there, as well as the knock-up, kind of a little bit overlap right there. The knockback from the Syndra, but Syndra's right up in her face, trying to be a body block for her Pantheon. Actually, she does. She protects her Pantheon. The tornado does not knock up. Oh, and actually the Thresh hook hits a minion, so not going to keep them safe. There's the EQ, though. They're going to go straight back into this. Legit killer needs to be super safe. There's the active pop, but they're going to go back in and just go down here. Artemis needs to just run, but in mid lane right now, Ori is just straight pushing, and this is what I want to see, is who cares about fighting, who cares about kills, just push objectives where the enemy team is not. Ori's doing a great job of that right now.
And it's not just alright, Jinx is also doing it as well. She's pushing down this bot lane so she could also get an inhibitor tower and an inhib of her own. But it looks like Vayne might be able to finally pick up a kill. Much needed. Zanya gonna delay the inevitable, however.
Yeah, that was a cute little Zanya's right there. She was trying to be a little ballerina, turn gold. But unfortunately, White Fang 369 here, he needs to group with his team more. He keeps trying to split. He keeps trying to do stuff by himself. Just group up with the team and do that. He's going to go down here again. And unfortunately, both Orianna and Jinx die there. If they had combined their efforts, they'd have a dead inhibitor right now.
Exactly, and it's just the fact that Kappa being really kind of underestimating the team or the side of Valentine Club. They're really just saying, hey, we can just do whatever we want. We're so ahead right now at this point. But that's not the case right now. If you do that, then you're just gonna be laughing in Valentine's face. They're gonna be picking up these kills, and they're, even though if they get 5k go behind or something, if they get an ace or if they get 3 or 2 members with 5 members still up, they can push a lot, or they can get a very big objective that can get them back into this game through gold from just minions or the objectives like I was talking about in general. And now we see Aurelia's pushing, but there's gonna be another pincer coming down towards her.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. It is pretty much just kind of almost like cockiness or just lack of caring, really. They just don't. They're like, we're far enough ahead. Who cares what we do? But the problem is this is not the team you want to kind of just do silly stuff again. Oh no, the Raptors are there, and Thresh is actually probably going to go down here, trying to make a cute little play to go over and hook into the Raptor den there, but he's not. And Dragon's going to spawn in 5 seconds. This should be a nice contest here for No Valentine Club. They have 35 seconds on Aurelia as well as Thresh right there. Vayne needs to join the party though, not get 1v1 by J4. But they could easily, No Valentine Club that is, come back in this game. This is not the team to screw around against. They have great scaling. This could be really dangerous for Kappa.
Yeah, but we see that Orianna is putting down a lot of bursts, reminding them the amount of damage she can do herself. She still has that shockwave up. She can get it on the same side of J4 and on Jinx. Then they're going to be able to have a nice kind of wombo and burst damage there. And it looks like that's what they're going to try to do right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Jinx and Orianna just do a ridiculous amount of damage, and actually J4 as well. So having 2 people to be dead, picking your support as well as your top laner are not too bad ones to pick. Jinx or J4 going in gets ulted away by Janna. Janna needs to be careful though. The Monsoon keeping them alive for right now, but who knows if it'll be long enough. Jinx or Vayne actually just straight running away. That is not what you want. Vayne is one of those champions where if you're running away, she's useless, but if you're chasing someone down, she's an absolute god. So in a scenario like that, where you're 80 carry, she's straight running from the fight, you are not going to be in a good scenario. And they just completely take that dragon and just push on, not take the dragon, but, oh no! He actually thought he was going to juke over to his team, but he's just going to leave Organic Jockbar to try and clean this up. Hopefully, there should be an execute from McPoopstains if he can get there in time. We'll see if he can make it. Orianna going to speed herself up. Will she get the damage on time? There's the auto attack. McPoopstains gets killed. So unfortunate.
And now finally, I like what I see right now by Kappa. They're finally doing something that would be worth doing if they want to keep this split push strategy up. You get the Baron buff, it strengthens your minions, it strengthens yourself. This will cause your split pushing to be so much more effective. But if you guys group up too, I mean, it's even more effective and you could use it from there. But instead they're gonna go back, smart choice, buy up, use the gold that they just recently got, and kind of maybe group up to end this finally. They do have the gold lead again, like I said. They have 15k ahead, 4 towers in favor of themselves as well. And if you look at their items, they're almost on their 5th item done, completed, and that's huge. If you look on the side of Valentine Club, they only have like about their 3rd item. They're still working on their 3rd item, or 1 or 2 people have their 3rd item done. That is a huge gold lead, and they should not be losing from here. And we can see right now that Jinx is just clearing waves on her own, and I'm glad to see she's not deciding to kind of do it alone. Now she's deciding to buddy up with Aurelia, which is what we want to see, right?
Yeah, and Aurelia can take the turret, Jinx can shred it, and her passive will make her speed up and usually get away, or just engage even further on top of that. And they're doing this and getting them for free right now. They do have an open inhibitor in mid, so I like the fact that Ori's going to be shoving in the side lanes, but group up after this. Don't fight until you are grouped up after. This is not what I want to see. Pantheon ulting in. It should be a dead Aurelia. Can get Miss Snow beforehand. Nope, dead Aurelia. Jinx, why are you going back in? Oh no, this is really not what you want to see right now. Jinx is going to go down. And this is really unfortunate. Kappa's been doing this over and over again. Get the turret and back out, and then rotate around with your team. Don't just keep pushing forward over and over again. Or if you are going to do that, get some wards down so you can see the enemy coming.
Exactly, there are really no wards in that top lane kind of area in the jungle or anything, and that's going to cost them, but now we see Mundo's trying to go for the engage onto legit kill him.
And now they're going to fight 3v5 again after 2 of their members of their team have died. They're ridiculously far ahead in gold right now, but they're fighting in just these unfair scenarios, trying to... J4 is just 1v4ing in the backline, flashes away, but that will be a kill. And this is just super sloppy play from Kappa. They're just kind of letting this game get out of control right now. Even though they're super far ahead, they're just making it their life so hard on themselves. Tornado going forward. Fnatic might go down here. He needs to be careful. Orianna has so much damage, though. This is just absolutely ridiculous. The exhaust onto Vayne. Vayne actually flashes over towards a wall. Quadra kill for Orianna. And this is really unfortunate because it's one of those games where you're watching it and you're like, well, no, they're playing well, but they're actually playing horribly. They're just so far ahead, it doesn't matter.
Exactly, like they could have ended this game if you look at the time. They had this gold lead right at 20 minutes. 20 minutes bang on. They've been stalling for 13 minutes because they haven't been ending like they should be. Group up. You're so ahead. You can kill them all. Just group up. That's all you need to do and push your advantage. With that Baron buff too, that would have been such an easy game. Then go from there. Go 4 group up in mid, 4 group up in top, and then 1 bot, and then split push from there. But instead, we see that they're doing the same strategy over and over again. Aurelia going this mid lane, and she's gonna probably get bursted down. She's gonna try to go from the snow and bring her down with her.
Oh, Aurelia's just 1v3ing right now. Here comes Jinx for some backup, and this is the ridiculous part, is they are this far ahead. Oh, Jinx is just cannoning people right in the face, and it doesn't matter. That's not how you're supposed to play Jinx, but who cares at this point? Cannons are so strong. This is an absolutely ridiculous game. Jinx is not going to be able to follow up through that, but the zap, oh, he jumps forward and just dodges the zap, but the minions should be able to pick up the kill. No! Yes, they do!
Oh!
Pantheon just goes down at the end, and this should hopefully be game for Kappa here. Mundo, the only one left alive, 15 seconds on Janna, and they should just push down and end this game. They've been in control the entire time, and are having a real sloppy finish here at the end. But good job getting themselves so far ahead that they could play this sloppy and still close out the game.
And that's just based off of their lanes, and like I said, I would say mostly Artemis on that Thresh, man, doing fantastic work. Not just that, but also organic choke bar. Very clutch Orianna ults, I must say. They both worked that together, and you know, mid lane helped top lane, bot lane helped the jungler and their AD carry to get so ahead that they could do this. They could burst down 3 people at once. They could kill the whole team with in a 2v5 or 3v5 situation. And again, that's just look at that early game. That's all I gotta say. Just look at their early game.
Yeah.
Look at their wards. Look at their rotations. Look at their positioning. Beautiful textbook, I must say. And I'm thoroughly impressed by this Thresh. If I could, I would give him MVP right now.
Yeah, I have to absolutely agree with you entirely right there. Thresh was a monster in this game, and let all the kills go on. Not, of course, to take anything away from the rest of the side of Kappa right now, but you want all of your kills going on your mid laner and AD carry, and that's exactly what happened in the game. The two kind of supporty players in top lane and support, I guess you could say, really doing their job and letting their carries carry this game. Jinx a monster, Orianna a monster, doing absurd damage, and they close out the game before the scaling of No Valentine Club kicks in. They're going to go straight to the finals here. So congratulations to Team Kappa. They'll be moving on to the finals, like I said. And I believe, no, we do not have a team they'll be facing yet. TSM Light is facing Lucian Ulted Tupac in the other semifinals, and we'll see who wins from that, and they'll be facing Kappa in the grand finals right now. So thank you guys so much for watching and listening. We'll be moving on to the grand finals lobby very shortly. My name is Streeple. You can find me on Twitter at Streeple, youtube.com/Streeple. I'm casting alongside Sort of Lighting, and you can find him on Twitter at sim_sword. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be right back.
Peace.
Let it collapse into the abyss. In the midst of summer, it won't exist. This emptiness, it's just a blank slate, waiting for pain to interfere. It's quite complex, but what I know.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Random Championship Series Gold Knights Golden Under tournament for today, Saturday. I, I don't even know what to say at this point. I really don't even know what to say at this point. It's happened 3 times in a row where I've said Saturday. I'm going to erase the word February from my notes and just guess the month from now on. It is Saturday,
Saturday.
February 14th. I apologize to everyone. I don't know what's wrong with me. My name is Streeple, and I'm casting alongside Sword of Lightning. How are you doing after that terrible intro, Sword?
Man, I don't know, but all I want to have is a swoon day. But we already see the six bands go down already between both teams right now, and I'm really
Oh,
excited. And right when I
hey!
say that, PhD leaves League of Legends, and I guess he just knows too much about League of Legends. That's why he has PhD in his name.
Yeah, he's got his PhD and he's out. He says, I'm done with school. See you guys later. But no, he did DC. So we'll be jumping back into the lobby here in just a split second and going to those same bands. And I believe some of them were like Ari, Cassidon, J4. I think I saw some of those possibly. But we'll be kind of jumping back into that a little bit more once we see the selection again. But I want to let you guys know this is our grand finals of our Gold and Under Gold Knights tournament. And on the blue side, we're going to be having Lucian Alted Tupac with it's a name. I'm not going to say it's good or bad. It's a name. Against Kappa on the purple side. We have some interesting names for our teams. But yeah, so Kappa on the purple side versus the blue side, Lucian Alted Tupac in our grand finals. This will be a best of 3 series. So whoever wins this game will take the series to 1-0, and the other team will have a chance to pull themselves back and take home first place.
Ooh, very interesting. But now looking more into it, we saw the six bands go down right down immediately. It seemed like they kind of knew exactly what they wanted to do, which is very interesting. You hardly see teams that race through bands just like that. It reminds me of actually Cloud9 when they first started in the summer LCS of 2013, I want to say it was. And it was interesting because they went through their picks like they knew exactly what they wanted to do. They were so confident in what they were doing, and from there, it's just both teams. It's showing that both teams have confidence right now, in my opinion. And now it all depends on picks and bans. If they race through like that, I'll feel like what these guys are very confident. They can go down to it, and we just saw the amount of confidence that Artemis has on that thresh. So I'm wondering, actually, I didn't get to see the bans completely, but I'm wondering if they're either gonna ban it or pick it away from him.
Yeah, I didn't see it banned if I recall correctly, so I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, if they do decide to first pick it away from Artemis. That would be a very good call, I think. It would be a little bit difficult, but like you were saying, I love that Cloud9 style of pick and ban. Is have everything prepared beforehand. They were kind of the originators back in the day with Lemon's notebook. He still has it, but now that coaches are on stage, it's a little bit different. There's less of the kind of mystique about the Cloud9 picks and bans. But that is my style of doing it: is give your opponent the least amount of time to react. Know everything beforehand. Know exactly what you're going to do. Bam, bam, bam. Fire it off. And even if you do have time to discuss, wait. Don't hover over anything. Just kind of stall, wait, and then at the last second you don't need to kind of wait until literally the last second, but once your team has decided this is what we're picking, both whoever's picking the two players, two roles, whatever, select the champion same time, lock it in same time, give your opponent no time to discuss. Every little second matters. It could be that last second where they're like, should we go this or this? I don't know. If you give them that extra 5 seconds, sometimes they're like, oh, we should go that. It's a better pick. We'll stick with that. Any sort of advantage you can get. That is my style of locking it in. Any advantage you can get because I'm not that good at this game. I'll take anything you will give me, and if you give me 5 seconds in picks and bans, that's enough. I'll take it.
Exactly, and it's not even just that. The Cloud9 style also, to add to it, was they didn't even go for targeted bans usually when they
Mm-hmm.
first started. They actually went for what they just didn't like to play against. If you saw, I remember one time in the Dignitas League game, they just banned Karthus, Kennen, and I believe it was, I want to say it was Ash or something like
Yeah,
that,
something really
and
weird.
something really weird, and everybody was like, Dignitas doesn't play any of these though.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. And it was just because Cloud9's like, I don't care if they don't play these. This was so annoying, I don't want to deal with it. And that's most people kind of just do it like that, sadly. And I mean, it's very depressing in my opinion, just because of the fact, again, like I was saying, um, teams should just go to their strengths. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, we just got an update, surprisingly, from our administrator.
Yeah, so No Valentine actually, or no, I guess what's their full team name here? Let me just make sure because it is No Valentine Club. They are a club. They did win by forfeit in the third place match, so they are our third place winners. And TSM Light will be taking home the fourth place prize. As it is getting a little bit late in the night, some people have to go with things like that, but they will not be going home empty-handed. It is going to be, I believe, 1800 or sorry 800 RP per player for the fourth place team there, TSM Light, and No Valentine Club picking up 1600 RP per player, so not too shabby. Both of those teams going home with some nice prizes, and we will decide who gets the first place prize of 3200 RP and the Triumphant Rise skins with this next series coming up right now.
It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, and actually, as you were mentioning before, I just going to go back to that as we're waiting to get back into the lobby again here. There's kind of two schools of thought in that, and that's what you're talking about before, is either play to your strengths and ignore what your opponent does, or study your opponent, find out what they do, and figure out how to abuse them. And that's what you were saying before, is Cloud9 kind of played that style of, well, we know what we want to do, and we're going to do it so well that you can't stop it if we take away what stops that comp. We don't care what you play, we know what we're doing, and we're going to play to our strengths and just not worry about what the other team does. And like I said, the reverse kind of strategy is figure out everything about your opponent and target their weaknesses, avoid their strengths, and play off of that. Or if you're strong enough, you can just do whatever your strategy is and win based on that. So it's really kind of whatever your team decides is going to be the best for your style of play. And in that situation, it worked out quite well for Cloud9 back in the day. But here are our bans here. We've got Kassadin, Orianna, and Ahri. So 3 mid laners being banned out for Lucian ulted Tupac. They want to make sure that there is going to be no type of shenanigans there in the mid lane for Organic Jock Bar.
Yeah, and again, we saw his play on Orianna. I'm assuming his play is equally as good as Kassadin. And we talked about Ahri, even though with those nerfs, she's still a very strong pick in the mid lane. And then we see the Wukong, LeBlanc, and Nidalee showing equal kind of scariness in the mid lane, but not just that, the jungle as well. Nidalee a flex pick between mid and jungle, especially with the patch news that just came up, and Wukong just being a strong mid laner, or strong jungler, sorry, overall with that knockup. And as first pick, we see the classic J4 possibly going down.
Yeah, J4 one of the really strong junglers right now, and actually most of these bans are spent around what I was kind of discussing with some people yesterday, is the mid lane kind of meta after all of the nerfs and changes to mid laners and stuff like that. It seems to kind of be settling into like an AP assassin mid laner kind of setup with like Ahri and Kassadin and Nidalee and LeBlanc, things like those. You've got some pokey setups with Xerath and things like that. But it's a lot of these AP assassin type champions, and Kassadin, Ahri, Ori, LeBlanc, and Nidalee all being banned out here, so not very many AP assassins left there in the mid lane to pick up, so we'll see what they decide to go for. I really like when a lot of the bans are targeted at one role, because you get to see some kind of weird picks in that position.
Something else that I want to talk about is the Thresh hasn't been picked up yet,
There we
and
go.
right now Artemis is gonna pick up again. No surprise, but the Lee Sin gonna be picked up for legit killer. That's a little interesting to me, honestly. He seemed like a bit of the playmaking, making those reckless plays on the J4, but now we finally get to see him on that playmaking kind of jungler, and Lee Sin is no better than a playmaking jungler. Insect always making those insect plays, and I mean maybe legit killer will make those insect plays as well.
Yeah, I actually don't mind this Lee Sin pickup. Lee Sin kind of falling a little bit since he received some nerfs several patches ago, and other junglers are just kind of rising a little bit more to the top. J4 probably the most top tier jungler right now. Lee Sin is better early game, but gets outscaled by J4 slightly. So the fact that we saw from last game, Kappa was super strong in the early game and transitioned to a very strong mid game, I actually like that pickup in the jungle for them. It should allow legit killer to do some crazy things early game. But like you were mentioning before, the fact that Thresh was not either banned or picked away or just straight up anything to stop Artemis from getting that Thresh, they just handed it over to him.
However, with that said, we do see the Morgana coming out as a counter, the Black Shield. Perfect way to counter the Thresh. Negates the kind of CC from the hook and from the Flay. So that's going to be really good, but kind of switching between Liana too. But Fizz is one I want to talk about the most right now. Now, Fizz has taken quite a bit of nerfs, but I've seen a lot of play with Fizz towards the top lane as well. AD
Yeah.
Fizz, AP Fizz, a lot of different kind of Fizz builds in that top lane. So, you know, Cali Trolls brought out this AP Fizz build in the LCS promotion series when he was kind of competing with Team 8, and now I'm really excited to see if this Fizz will be in the mid lane or the top lane. And as a result for the support, we see the Liana, so it looks like they're going for hard engage on the side of Lucian, or on blue side, sorry. And then we see red side. They're not really kind of showing what they want to go for right now, but these next two picks should definitely kind of sort out what they definitely want to go for.
Yeah, Lee Sin and Thresh can kind of be played into most any comp right there. But just to go back to the Fizz that you were talking about before, I've played Fizz as my main champion since I first started playing this game. I am in love with Fizz. I absolutely love him. And they absolutely gutted him with those nerfs. Now, they did change his kit so that he works a little bit more as like an AD hybrid bruiser almost nowadays, but he is just nowhere near the way he used to be in terms of an AP assassin in mid lane right there. His ultimate is pretty much a necessity if you want to kill anyone nowadays. Without leading with your ultimate, you do no damage whatsoever. Back in the day, my phrase for Fizz was, if his E is up, he's a god. If his E is down, he sucks. Nowadays, if his ult is up, he's all right. If his ult is down, he sucks. So really, kind of the Fizz potential scale has just been, it used to be up here, and it's kind of moved down here now. And now he operates in this range, where he used to operate in this range right here. So I just don't like the Fizz picks anymore. He's okay in top lane and jungle. You can make it work. But I really just feel like Fizz is a shell of what he used to be, and I don't think he's worth the pick personally. But that's coming from someone who's played Fizz for literally years and was in love with the old Fizz and doesn't like the new Fizz.
Flex pick after flex pick right now. We
Mm.
see Lissandra Grace get picked up very aggressive early game kind of bot lane on the side of Kappa, but the Lissandra, she can go mid, she can go top, mostly seen top now, but she still can go mid. She has shown mid a bunch of times in LCS, OGN, even in LPL, but not just that. Even in the LCS and the Cassiopeia also, she did take a lot of nerfs that made her a little weaker in the top lane. But now we see the Xerath. Maybe I'm correct. Maybe that might be a Fizz top, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
And we see the Sivir also hovered on as well. This is a very interesting comp, I must say, from the side of Lucian Alta 2 pack.
Yeah, I really wouldn't expect you to see a Fizz mid, and if you did, then I would be way more upset than I am at the Fizz pick. I don't like to see Fizz played at all. When they started playing him in LCS and like top lane and stuff right after the changes, I didn't like that. And now, of course, I'm not a pro player, and I don't kind of like I know what they're going for. I just don't like it. I don't think Fizz is a worthwhile champion right now. He's viable, but there's just so many better picks, and I really think that it's just not going to be that great. Lissandra should win that matchup in top lane there. Xerath should be able to poke out Zed for a little while in mid lane until Zed gets his ultimate and can jump in and make some plays happen. But I think that there's a lot more playmaking potential for the side of Kappa, where Lucian ulted Tupac has to kind of rely on the engage of Leona and J4 there with the ultimate of Sivir. Xerath has some good backup, and Fizz can jump in there. But I don't know. I do like the fact that they've kind of counterbalanced the fact that their top laner isn't going to be really tanky as a Fizz with the tanky support in Leona. So that balances it out a little bit better. But I still, you have to be hard pressed to kind of convince me that picking a Fizz is worthwhile in any situation right now.
Honestly, going for something that is a back pocket pick, in my opinion, is not that bad of a choice. I agree with you. Fizz has been gutted quite a bit, and it makes sense now why they didn't pick the Morgana. But at the end of the
Hmm.
day, back pocket picks can overrule a lot of stuff. It makes teams surprised, like, oh, he had this all along. I didn't know this. I didn't think that this would happen. But on top of that, while we see that, or while I say that. Xerath makes a last minute swap with
Hmm.
his
That's
summoners, taking the exhaust, and I really like that.
Yep.
Zed goes in on him, death marks him, has those three shadows out with his uh other shadow, and he's able to do all these fancy moves and damage. If he's exhausted, he's not going to be able to do that much damage, and Xerath's going to be able to turn the tide. He has a stun of his own. He also has a slow. He has quite a bit of damage with his Q, and if Zed somehow gets away limping with very low health, Xerath does have that ult to snipe him from far away.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Xerath, with the exhaust there, should be able to just demolish Zed in lane. Zed shouldn't be able to kill Xerath unless Lee Sin makes an amazing play right there. But the exhaust is perfect for Zed. It is pretty much tailor-made to defeat a Zed because Zed ults you, and he's got a certain timing window to do as much damage as possible to proc that death mark from his ultimate there. So if you exhaust him, all that damage, that 2.5 seconds that he has or whatever, is entirely gone, and he's going to do no damage to you. He's not going to proc the really strong pass or really strong ultimate, the second tick there of his ultimate after he does the initial damage. And it's just really going to make Zed kind of useless, to be honest, in mid lane if the exhaust is used properly. And I really like that pick because Lee Sin, I would imagine, would be spending a fair amount of time in mid lane.
Yeah, Lee Sin's gonna try to get this out ahead as much as possible. Zerad's gonna be able to go at long range, casting those spells left, right, and center. And not even just that, I want to talk about the composition on Kappa. I really do like it. They have a lot of engage, kind of a lot of disengage as well. But look at their whole team. Do you see a designated tank, more than one designated tank, honestly? Because I don't really see more than one really designated tank. Maybe Thresh a little bit, maybe Lee Sin a little bit, but not really. They have to build at least two or three tank items, in my opinion, for them actually to be as tanky as they need to be. More like if you look, Leon is a natural tank, J4, natural tank. They still do a lot of damage, but they're very natural, a lot of CC. Yes, Kappa does have the CC to answer that, maybe even more in the more initial burst, but if they do get caught out, or if a nice cataclysm ult happens, or some sort of catch, is going to go completely in favor of Lucian ulted Tupac, just because of the fact that they have the tankiness, they have the survivability more. But again, if Kaba can burst down, Lucian has Tupac's one of their members, then the fight will be in their favor. If it's a 5-on-5, the fight will definitely most likely be in Lucian ulted Tupac, just because of their survivability again.
Yeah, absolutely. Kappa, like you said, they don't really have a designated tank, but my assumption is Thresh will be building as much tank as possible. Lee Sin will be after his jungle item, and Lissandra will be kind of going half and half once she gets the Zonias and possibly in an Abyssal Scepter or something like that, which I would imagine she'd be possibly instead of the Morello Nomicon going into Athenes because it's double AP for Lucian Alted Tupac. Things like that to provide a little bit of tankiness. I don't think it should be that big of a deal as long as they don't go too crazy early. Because, like I said, it'll be a little while until they do get enough tankiness to kind of supplement the fact that they don't have a designated tank, like the side of Lucian Alted Tupac does. But the fact that there's a Fizz in top lane, like you don't really have, like say a Maokai or a Scion or something. That's literally my job is to be a tank. J4 can kind of go half and half. Leona as a support, she will get tanky, but only if she gets some money, I guess, some kills, experience, assists, whatever you want to call it there, that gets her some items. Until then, they're just more of like a CC bot, so I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal unless we see some weird item builds coming out from Lee Sin and maybe from Thresh as well. We'll see what they decide to pick, but I do agree with you that Lucian Alta Tupac has a beefier team there and a little bit of a safer kind of setup for themselves.
Now, something else I want to talk about. Look at that Doran's blade onto Fizz.
Mm-hmm.
Most Fizz people actually have been building AD instead of AP.
Yeah.
And the reason being is just like you talked about. He got nerfed, in my opinion, to the ground
Yeah.
just because everything got put on his ult, right? But now with the AD Fizz, he can split push. He can still have that burst damage, but he's mostly there for split pushing. And is going to be amazing, especially with these teleports, especially with the fish being so big. We'll see something, but the pause going down right now. What do you think you can see from how these people are positioned right now on the map for both teams? Do you feel like there will be some sort of invade or more of a defensive sort of start?
Well, the fact that Fizz is in top lane and not there with his team or even remotely on the map, he's literally just camping out in a bush in top lane, leads me to believe that the side of Lucian Ultra 2-Pack does not want to get involved in a level 1 fight here. They kind of just want to set up defensively around the red buff. You might want to get involved in a fight if you're Kappa here because they do have a pretty strong level 1, but unfortunately the reason the pause is happening is because Lissandra is AFK in base, or DC'd in base rather. So the level 1 is not really an option when you don't have your Lissandra there with you. But at the moment, it's 4v4 currently, so you never know what might happen. But from what I see currently, I imagine both teams are going to want to just play defensively right now. And no one's on the top side of the map. No one's even worrying about the red side red buff and the blue side blue buff. They are just all clumped on the bottom right now.
And I feel like that's because, like I said before, Lee Sin mostly likes to start out red. Surprisingly enough, he's starting towards bot side in blue. J4 can get away with either or, in my opinion, but that telegraphs to me Lee Sin's going to go for that possible level 2 gank in the mid lane, or he's going to
I,
make his rotation up to top lane and possibly try to kill that Fizz who's overextending. Because what the hell with the Lissandra CC she has? She does have a root. She has a slow with her Q. She can also get past her enemy with her claw. And Lee Sin also does have a slow. He has Q that has execute damage as well. Very good at kind of those very fast damaging ganks. And I mean, it's very kind of his options are open, I like to say, for Lee Sin. More like J4. J4, he can't really go mid. Xerath will yes, he will be able to out damage Zed, but that's because he outranges Zed. That's because he has the range on him. But you can't really engage on range if it's level 2 Xerath, because he can throw out an E maybe and then a Q or a W, and that's it. J4 won't have enough damage from there. More like Fizz, if he makes his way top like Lee Sin most likely will, then it will most likely be they're on their way to rotate top. Fizz will have all three of his spells up, or two spells with one, and I feel like W will be leveled up twice possibly, or maybe it will be three. I'm not sure. I don't know I haven't been keeping up recently with the Fizz AD builds, but you know what I mean. They will go most likely for top, both junglers, and it will be a 2v2 clash happening, which I'm very excited to see.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't expect to see Lee Sin top that much, just because Fizz is so easy to escape ganks with, and that's why I mentioned before my old kind of saying with Fizz is if his E's up, he's a god. If his E's down, he's screwed. So as long as Fizz is careful with his playful trickster there, his E of course, he can dodge Lee Sin's Q and really just avoid any sort of incoming gank there. And that's why I played Fizz forever, because it's one spell, it's one button where you're like, oh, I screwed up, I'm in trouble. Press it and you're fine, you're good to go. So I think it's going to be difficult to get a gank off in top lane. The same thing can kind of be said for the Glacial Path from Lissandra there as well. I feel like Xerath is gankable, and then in bot lane you might be able to make something happen, but to be honest, most of these lanes are kind of self-sufficient really, that they can save themselves from jungler ganks. It's really going to be up to kind of legit Killa to make a play happen as opposed to just set up a nice gank. He can't get away with something simple here. It has to be something fancy in order to pull something off, or a mistake has to come out from one of the sides here, because really all these lanes should be safe. I imagine that Lee Sin will try to get some ganks going on in mid, because that's his best bet. Even though Xerath has exhaust, he's got no way to escape other than the stun, and he still has no movement. He could burn a flash early, but I really expect to see Lee Sin, to be honest, just smite that frog, go over to blue, take blue, and then go over to red and smite that red. Just play safe early, get the 2-buff start, hit level 3, go back, get some items, and then make a play. Don't go crazy here, because I really think that if he tries to make a play early, it could really backfire on him.
I agree with you, especially since, you know, they do have the follow-up damage, but the thing is, the Sandra hasn't reconnected yet. So
Right.
it's going to be a 4v5 situation right now.
Oh.
So this is a very pressing matter on the side of Kappa right now.
Yeah, that's actually a good point there. I didn't even realize they did. I just assumed from the unpause that he's back in action, but they're actually being nice guys right here, the team of Kappa, saying that we don't have any pause time left. Our guy DC'd, he's having computer problems, but hey, that's the way things go. Fortunately for them, they do have a best of 3 series, so if this game goes haywire, they've got some more chances to kind of get back. But yeah, that's really unfortunate. Fizz is going to be free farming in top lane right now.
Yeah, and that's not really what you want, obviously.
No.
Fizz is going to get free levels. He can obviously roam a lot more. He'll probably just take down this top lane tower, but it looks like what Lee Sin may do is he may just go for his buffs, then go for this top lane.
Yeah.
Try to protect him, but wow, Leona taking a lot of damage in this bot lane.
Yeah, level 2, and there's the hook, and it hits on Leona. Leona getting exhausted as well, but she flashes away just in the nick of time. Going to be super low on HP, though, but she did opt for the sustain build instead of picking up an extra green ward. Just going straight for pots right there, so she should be able to keep herself alive. And like you mentioned, Lee Sin should hopefully just go cover top lane for a while, because Fizz, like you mentioned, Fizz is not the guy you want to let just free farm on his own. Graves getting huge damage on Sivir in the bot lane. But Fizz is not the person you want free farming on his own, especially now. Fizz, the way they changed him, his lane phase sucks. He's useless until he hits level 6, or before, at level 3, you could start making things happen with your QWE kit. Now it's terrible, so you need to hit level 6 before you can make things happen. And if you have a free road to level 6, and you don't even have to face a lane opponent until then, you are going to have a good day on Fizz. So, you know what? It's actually kind of paying dividends for them that they picked Fizz. It's a good person to let free farm.
Yeah, and actually something else to talk about is Lee Sin will go to this top lane, but not just that, even with the disconnect, the lanes are already winning actually, surprisingly enough, on the side of Kappa. Look, Zed, 20 to 12 farm. Graves, 21 to 15 farm. Yes, Sivir should be having a hard time with Graves, but J4 is here. He shouldn't be farming the map at this point then. He should be creating a lot more pressure, but now here's the reconnect, and maybe things will go in a little bit of more favor on the side of Kappa. Remember, Lissandra's only level 1 right now. She's teleporting getting into lane. Fizz is level 3. We will see what happens from here.
I would have actually, to be honest, liked to have seen Lissandra save her teleport and just walk into lane. She teleported to lane, but she's going to get zoned out by level 4 Fizz, so she could have just walked there and pretty much gotten the same amount of what she's getting right now. She's not getting anything from lane other than maybe a tad of experience when Fizz doesn't zone her properly, getting some CS with Q. But I would like to see her hold on to that turret, or hold on to that teleport rather, because I have a feeling she's going to get chunked and be forced to try and TP back in the lane here pretty soon. There's the chunk. She's level 2 right now, and she's already super chunked. Here comes Lee Sin trying to make something happen. Oh, he might go down in a turret. There's a beautiful flash, but Fizz flashed in a turret. What are you doing, you crazy bastard, Fizz? What is going on in your brain? He is so far ahead in lane and decides to turret dive 1v2. I'm sorry, there's no reason for that.
There isn't, especially since J4 was there in the background. You could very much easily just waited for the J4 and been like, hey, let's tower dive them together. Lee Sin, he doesn't have his kick to kind of disengage that. And hey, Lissandra's only level 1. She doesn't have her root yet, but nice hook connecting onto Liana, but she's going to shield the damage away.
Yeah, actually plays the wrong way there, unfortunately, but it probably wouldn't have made a difference regardless. But it's the same thing as mentioned. Here comes J4 coming in, trying to make Lissandra's life a living hell, which would be not too hard to do at this point in the game. But like I was mentioning, wish she would have saved the teleport, because then she could go back to base and teleport back in now. But as I mentioned in the game before, where Vayne had gotten the kill and then they fought before she had spent that money, it's the same thing that happened to Fizz in the top lane. Fizz is ahead by 25 CS or something like that, but he hasn't bought any items yet. He hasn't spent any of that gold, so he's still pretty much exactly the same as if he wasn't that far ahead in lane. Tries to make a play happen as if he were super far ahead and ends up dying for it. And now the game is actually back in Kappa's control when they started the game with an AFK person. That's unbelievable.
I know, and that's very good. And again, we talked about how Xerath should be able to out-bully this Zed, but it looks like the other way around. Looks like Fizz is going to try to do something. Hook connects towards the bot lane, a lot of damage going down, but it looks like Fizz is also caught up in the mid lane. Yeah,
and Lee Sin and Zed are kind of trading back and forth. There's the ultimate, and Fizz does not have his E, so that should be a dead Fizz. He tries to E away, and the flash forward from Zed, and Xerath is going to have to flash over the wall as well. Here comes Lee Sin for a little bit of backup, but like you were mentioning, Xerath, to be honest, should beat Zed in lane. We saw earlier, there was actually a certain point when you first mentioned it there, Xerath was super low on mana, and Zed hadn't used a single health pot of the 3 that he started with. So it kind of tells you the story of the early mid-game. Oh no, whoa. Shut up and ward. That, wards wouldn't save you there, buddy, unfortunately. It doesn't even pop the exhaust because it was just too fast. Zed just jumping in there with his W, gets the full combo off, and it's a fed Zed so far. And it's the same thing as we mentioned in the game with Annie before, where it's like, what do you do against a Zed? Don't give him kills. Okay, you gave him kills, and now you're kind of screwed.
Exactly, and it's not just that. He must have been practicing that combo for days, putting it off so fast. But also look at the farm again, 50 to 35 in this bot lane, 51 to 34 in this mid lane, 19 to 31. Yes, it's a little bit of difference, but there was a DC. These guys are going into overdrive. They realized, just like I hate saying it, but just like Cloud9, Cloud9 realizes that, hey, High's out of favor this season. Let's make balls carry. Then let's make sneaky carry. Any one of these guys can carry. And they're like, you know what? The weight's in our hands. The weight's in my hand mid. The weight's in my hand as AD carry. I need to step up my game. They stepped up their game, and it is stepped. 25 farm, pretty much an advantage for Graves. Expected. 25 farm advantage and a kill and an assist for Zed. Not exactly expected right now, and they're just showing up. Lee Sin also being very much pressure around the map. He's gonna go behind the Xerath as well, cutting off his escape route.
Oh, he dodges the Q actually, but Zed's going to pick up the kill here, and this is exactly what I was expecting from Lee Sin for most of the game, is you have a mid laner that has no real escape. You just need to camp him all day long, especially a strong early game jungler like Lee Sin, and this is Lee's advantage over J4, is he's stronger in the early game, and he is taking advantage of it. J4, it's pretty easy to beat Lee Sin. All you need to do is just not let him do anything early, and then just wait. But unfortunately, J4 is trying to farm and wait, but Lee Sin is taking advantage of that. Gets the dragon early as well. 2-0-2, 100% kill participation. And right now, Legit Killa is a legit Killa in this game. He is going crazy.
Yeah, he's been a part of every single kill that has him in the map. But Artemis is looking for some sort of hook onto PhD, but it looks like instead they're just going to zone off. Oh, a nice spell shield by Sever there to kind of block the damage. But again, talking more towards the top lane, Lissandra's catching up pretty rapidly, and I feel like that's just because Fizz has been trying to roam a lot, and he hasn't been that successful. So he now needs to stay in this top lane, try to do his best. But with Lissandra being level 6 like him, I feel like Lissandra should be able to, even with her low itemization, she has more items, she has more gold than this Fizz, 1, and 2, she should be able to burst him down. She has the amount of lockdown needed, and if Fizz can't land a fish, then he's done for, like you said before.
It looks like they might be swapping lanes, actually. They might be sending Lissandra mid here, getting a hook onto Leona, trading some damage on. No, they're going to swap back after. There's the pink ward placed down from Lissandra, but it looks like, I don't know what exactly they're doing. They're sending their 2 solo laners to go gank mid and put their jungler in top. I don't know what the coordination is right here. They're finally switching, I think. Going back,
Lissandra's blue buff.
Yeah, oh, they're going to steal it, but they need to be careful right now because J4 and Xerath are collapsing. If you're going to take the buff, you got to do it with your team there. They need to be super careful. Lissandra going to get jumped on by J4, has to flash away. She's got the speed up from the Scuttle Crab. Can she dodge? Oh, she ults herself. Can Zed come in time? Lissandra is going to go down. There's the ultimate from Fizz, and this might actually be a dead Zed. There's the beautiful stun by Shut Up and Ward, the exhaust on top of him, and this is where Fizz is good, when you can just straight poke somebody. That's what AD Fizz needs to do, is pop his W and just auto-attack over and over again. They pick up a kill there, and unfortunately, I think that was just straight sloppy play by the side of Kappa. You had no wards to steal that blue, your team wasn't there, there's no reason to try and take that.
Exactly, and it's not even just that. You were AFK, but nice little flare landing on, not getting any stuns, but teleport coming in. They're going to pick up the kill onto Kokorika.
Yeah, collateral damage coming out, and Lissandra cancels the TP to go back up the top lane there, but the burst from Graves is absolutely absurd, and I was going to mention this before, but the item difference between Sivir and Graves, not that there's a ton more gold, but it's just a different style of build. Graves has literally all of his gold put into flat attack damage, where Sivir has a lot spent on sustain and survivability. So when you just get straight bursted like that, the guy with the flat AD is going to win every time. Here comes Lee Sin, though. Oh my goodness, actually an E used by Fizz, but he's going to get dashed forward there, and that should be a dead Fizz there. Oh, actually the Q does not land. Lee Sin, I think he was trying to ward hop there, but misplaced that, unfortunately, but just walks forward, hits him with an E anyways. And that is unfortunate. Fizz way too far up. He did have a ward, but unfortunately it was not placed in the correct spot. It wasn't the tri-brush, but you got to cover 2 spots there, unfortunately. And at the end of the day... Sorry?
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, at the end of the day, I feel like if you only have 1 ward to place, it's better to place it lower in the river, because it's worse to get ganked from behind than it is from up front in the lane.
I do agree with that. And something else that I want to talk about is no Sightstone by Lee Sin, surprisingly enough. It would help with the vision game a lot more in favor of Kappa in my position. Like you said, they need the vision control to just aggress a lot more like they like to on the map, but Organic is going on to shut up and ward.
Haha, very cheeky. I was waiting for him to do that flash. I think he didn't want to have to burn it. Was like, it should be enough, shouldn't it? And I was like, no, it's not going to be enough. Flashes in, gets the E for the final kill there. The very last second, too, the death mark was right about to hit. So good play by Organic Jockbar. You can tell that he's pretty familiar with his Zed. J4 actually doing an EQ combo on Zed right there, but Zed opting to just get out there quickly, get some good trade damage in on J4, and gets out of the turret range nice and quick.
Yeah, and something that I want to discuss now, the 4-man roam coming in mid, and that's what I'm going to discuss. They're going for some deep wards now. Like I said before, the Sightstone picked up by Lee Sin. They're looking for the tower dive on the J4, but instead they're just going to go for this mid lane tower. Nice decision making. They're trying to end this game as fast as possible. Like I said, they're stepping up their game as not just individual players now, but as a team with their rotations. Again, like we saw earlier in the last game, their rotations were perfect, but we see Fizz misses the fish. It still hits Lissandra, but Lissandra might go down.
Hey, he picks up the kill anyways, who cares? But yeah, I think he was expecting Lissandra to juke slightly. Whoa, actually this is going to be really dangerous for Kappa right here. They're caught out in the jungle. There's going to be the Xerath. Actually does not finish off Graves. Lee Sin is barely staying alive. Artemis will go down right here, or he should to Sivir. Can he get away in time? He should be able to go down. Oh my god, if he doesn't go down, there's the flash from Sivir, and that'll be the kill onto Artemis. And Dragon is spawning in a minute 15, which will be enough time to have all of the players of Kappa back onto the map, which will be good. But Fizz is just free pushing in top lane right now because of the dead Lissandra.
Honestly, that's a little weird, but J4 is going on to Organic Jockbar right now.
Yeah, Zed gonna get stunned out here by Xerath, but Xerath is gonna go down in time. Beautiful combo by Legit Killa, and he jumps forward to smite, actually. Gets the slow there on J4 and the double kill. Legit Killa is so strong on this Lee Sin right now, and this is a play-making combo for Lee Sin and Zed, and they are making plays right now. So impressed with Kappa.
Exactly, and it looks like that's where their natural kind of abilities lie, and not just that, their comfortability. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm going to make it a word.
We know what you're talking about.
Exactly, and from there they just feel so comfortable making plays. We could see that earlier on too. A lot of them were trying to make plays early, and they were working, but it could have been better champions. Zed is a great playmaking champion. Lee Sin, I feel like he was banned last game, and now he finally got picked up. Great playmaking champion, was able to make plays on. Right now we see 502. He hasn't been a part of only 2 of the kills, and that's very impressive, I must say. Now, on my feeling, Kappa's like this playmaking team that wants to always make plays and outshine the other plays. Now, the biggest play would be outplaying a team at Dragon, especially the very first Dragon to spawn. Now, the problem is the warding is not really in anybody's position or favor. A little bit in favor of Lucian ulted 2-pack, but again, they have to get in there fast and put in those wards before Lucian ulted 2-pack get in there and put in wards on their own and take that dragon.
Yeah, really, at this point in the game, Kappa's far enough ahead that as long as they don't screw up horribly around Dragon, they should be able to win it, or force a fight and win it, and take the Dragon on top of that. Lee Sin just grabbing his red buff, and I think now is when they're going to start making things happen. Lissandra needs to shove in that top lane, or actually she does have teleport there, and Fizz does not have it up yet, so this would be a perfect timing. I don't think they know that Fizz doesn't have the TP right now, though, and they're not going to make a play based on that, but if they really wanted to, they could just have Lissandra shove in and then TP down for the fight.
And this is perfect too. Now, even though that they don't know this, they're going for the Scuttle Crab now, which is exactly how teams are up. So they have that extra move speed. They're going to clear out the ward right now, and they're going to take the Dragon. Fizz does not have teleport. He's just going to shove in top. Lissandra going to rotate to the mid, push out mid. They do not need her in that Dragon Pit area because there's going to be no contest. Second Dragon, actually, I'm sorry, I missed the first Dragon, but second Dragon going down in favor of Kappa. More turret destruction, 20% more damage to towers, and that is going to help siege more buildings, but they're gonna go on a full 5-man rotation possibly for Fizz.
Yeah, unfortunately I did not like the movement from Lissandra right there. As I was saying, she had TP, she could stay in top lane and then TP down to the fight if they need to. Basically what she did was allow Fizz to free farm a few waves. She walked down to mid lane and then teleported back up the top. So just basically wasted her TP and a bunch of time right there for no real reason, allowing Fizz to free farm. If you're not going to be there for the dragon or you're going to fight, just shove that wave in like she's doing right now. Get that turret down, or at least just push Fizz under his own turret. Now Fizz has TP and Lissandra doesn't. This is the time for Fizz to try and make a play, but Fizz is grouping instead of pushing and then teleporting in. They're doing the exact reverse of what they should be doing. Lissandra split pushing without the TP and Fizz grouping with the TP. And they should be able to pick up a nice free blue buff here for Xerath, unless Lee Sin. No, Lee Sin actually going in and grabbing it with the final fallout from Q. Incredible play there coming out from Lee Sin. Dysum going to try and EQ over the wall here, keeps himself safe, but a defensive EQ from J4 means a good opportunity for the other team. Lissandra and Lee Sin. Oh, I'm not sure if this, if you guys are actually hearing this right now. We'll find out shortly. I'll just continue to talk for right now, just in case you guys can hear me, or maybe we'll jump back in. Okay, yes, you can hear me. Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear me. We're having some problems with the Skype call right now, but hopefully you guys can hear me. And we have, it looks like Lee Sin still with that blue buff right now, with a great steal from the follow-up Q, very last second. But they do have some, actually a cluster of wards from both teams around the blue side, red side, blue team red side of the map there, the red buff side of the map. Tons of wars just everywhere, a couple pinks. And the second dragon, of course, going over to Kappa right now. And Kappa should be able to slowly end this game out here on themselves, because they're so far ahead right now. As long as they don't do anything crazy like they were doing last game, they should be able to just group and slowly push things down. The only member of Lucian ulted 2-pack that I really feel can kind of turn things for them is possibly this Sivir. Sivir hasn't died yet, of course. She's going. The problem is, though, I feel like Sivir, with the double Dorans, she's already got 6% lifesteal, and then she's rushing the Bloodthirster first as well. I feel like that's just an overcommitment to lifesteal. And it's just really, you could be spending those stats elsewhere. If she'd gone for the double Dorans into an Infinity Edge, I would have liked that a little bit more, but she did start off with the double Dorans Vamp Scepter for like a purely sustained defensive build. Which I'm not the biggest fan of, and that's, I feel like, going to delay her spike a bit more. Graves going to be doing way more damage with that Infinity Edge right now. Lissandra's teleport still not up, so she's going to go to the top lane there and just shove some waves and then hopefully group with their team. That's what I would like to see. Lee Sin in the bot lane, actually, he should shove some waves. I'd love to see both top and bottom get a wave shoving and then go group mid. There is the ultimate on a Graves, though. Graves trying to get Scuttle Crab, but that is going to spell his doom. Shut up and ward, picking up a kill, and that's actually pretty good, putting that kill onto Xerath, because Xerath is really far behind right now, and having him back into kind of play would be really strong. Let me see if we can get, hopefully Sword can come back in here. Can you hear me, bud?
Boom. I am back.
There we go, back in action. Sorry about that little delay, everybody. Having some Skype troubles, internet issues, and things like that, but we are back in action.
And it seems like I didn't really miss too much other than the fact that Lissandra is going in onto Fizz top lane pretty deep, and the 4-man siege mid lane is happening. They might go for a tower dive. but
They
no
don't.
minions down.
I was gonna say good job by Kappa there just to clear the minions. You don't have any minions, you're gonna have to tank the turret. At least Sin's pushing by himself in ball lane, which is what they need to do. When you send an over like a large number of people, I guess more people than are there for the enemy team into that. If you don't get the turret, then somebody else can push things elsewhere, and that's what I mentioned before. At least Sin is gonna get jumped on by J4, but Xerath not on the same page. Fizz might go down here to Lissandra. Is he gonna be able to get that damage in time? Lissandra's cooldown's not up in enough time. And here's the thing is I was going to say, you know what, I feel like if Lissandra had gone, oh, wow, actually hooked by Thresh, but he's not going to follow up. I feel like if she had gone Athene, she might have been able to survive that, but then it is an AD Fizz, but the Trinity's got some AP as well, and he still does a good chunk of AD, or AP damage, rather. So splitting that up with some MR,
wow,
Fiends, and some armor. Whoa, Lee Sin's gonna, I was gonna say he shouldn't follow up on this. The exhaust there is gonna shut him down. Leona flashing away. Graves going underneath the turret. Oh, actually kills Xerath. Xerath's getting blasted. How is Graves alive right now? He gets exhausted, gets a double kill, finally gets taken down by Sivir, and Sivir's gonna be chasing Thresh. This is like a replay from last game where it is just absolute misplays from Kappa, but they come out ahead regardless of what happens in these fights.
Exactly, and it's not even just that. On top of that, they do the rotation. Zed send him off to split push like he's supposed to do once he hits that second ulti, and that's what they're doing right now. No one can deal with Zed, so they're sending him off to split push. We can see that the rest of Kappa can deal with their own battles 2v4, but Lissandra is gonna catch out the Sivir while she's taking the red buff. She's gonna claim the red buff for herself in favor of Kappa and put the flag down.
Yeah, claim this red buff for Kappa. Really good job there by Lissandra, but she needs to be careful right there. She did see the J4 coming. She might try and bait this into her team. She does have the red buff for the slows, and J4 is going to back off. His team says, not worth it. We don't have vision. Just let her go. Let her take the red buff. I know you want it, but just take the Raptors instead.
Two things I actually want to talk about right now is itemization right now. Fizz, he reaches Trinity Force like you said before. Very big power spike because it's AD and AP, exactly what Fizz needs. Lissandra should have probably, I feel like, gone with the Abyssal to cancel out some of that magic damage actually, and kind of deal it back, right? But in the end, Morello is still a good pickup overall.
Yep.
And I mean, the amount of AP is iffy for Fizz where it would be worth of value. But now the next thing I wanted to talk about, wow, big damage actually coming down in the mid lane as well. And
There's the hook on
Artemis
a shut up
to
and
kinda
ward. Artemis trying to make a play for his team, but his team's not there. He needs to be careful right now. This is kind of a distraction just for Dragon. But if Thresh goes down, this might actually turn out badly for them, but he flashes over the wall and pops the Ancient, or the Talisman of Ascension rather. His team is going to pick up their third Dragon. There's the ultimate from Sivir. Let's see if they catch up. Sivir getting hit by that Q. Lee Sin goes back in. These guys are crazy right now. Flashes over the wall, uses the safeguard over the wall. Fizz is so fast right now, trying to make some things happen, but Lissandra just free farming in top lane the whole time, and this is what you keep talking about, is the fact that you have someone split pushing this entire time, so whenever they're trying to make this chase happen, they're trying to get these kills, they're losing farm, they're losing objectives, and they're going to have to send someone back into bot lane, or into top lane rather, for the blue side to protect.
And now they're going for the 4-man rotation again, barely picking up this tower from mid lane. Xerath's gonna run out of mana. Lissandra, wow, picking off into the mix here.
Over the Glacial Wall, she should get stunned immediately right away, but there's the collateral damage onto Xerath there. Finally, Lissandra using her ultimate a little bit too late, I feel like. At least she should have popped that immediately as she goes in and tries to flash away, but Fizz's dots are going to be the damage. Actually, no, it was the red buff from Sivir picking up the kill there, and so far it's going to be a 2-for-1 trade for Kappa, but I believe they could have gotten that a little bit smoother there, a little bit of a late ultimate by Lissandra, but hey, they get a turret, they get 2 kills, and low health Sivir, which is their main wave clear when Xerath is dead, they might be able to get another turret from this. They've got really strong AD turret pushing tower with the Zed. Lee Sin, there's the engage from Leona, Fizz gets hooked, they're just going to go straight for the turret. I think they should just turn immediately onto Fizz right here, to be honest. Taking the tower is Graves, they should just kill the turret now, they need to switch back and forth. Miscommunication on their team, and Fizz might be able to pick up some kills. As soon as they landed the hook on Fizz, they need to just blow him up immediately and then turn back to the tower. I like their initial thought to kill the turret, but you have to kill the turret, back off onto Fizz, and then go back into the turret. You have to just switch back and forth repeatedly depending on what's going on.
I do agree with you there. I feel like Liana somehow had something to do with that. She did put herself right in, Zenith Blade right in. She's like, I don't care if I die, I need to try to sacrifice myself, make sure Fizz stays alive, he does what he needs to do. And that's what she did, but you know, in the end there, they were able to pick up 2-for-1 as well as an inhibitor tower. That's an open inhibitor in the mid lane. The hardest place I would say to crack an inhibitor, the most places where inhibitors are cracked, but at the same time that leaves so much opening. 23 minutes again in the driver's seat is Kappa. Will Kappa be able to finish this game out now? Like we've talked about in the last game, they have this huge lead, they have these 3 dragons with the movement speed as well, this damage to structures, and now Lissandra's going deep.
Organic Yachi has done this. He might be able to pick up a kill, possibly. Xerath ulting from point blank. I don't even know what to say there. Don't ult from point blank. Lissandra's gonna kill you when she comes out of stasis right there. Xerath probably could have ran away a little bit farther and then popped his ult, or just ran away and let J4 pick up the kill there in the mid lane. But unfortunately, a little bit of over-aggression from Organic Yachi. He nets a kill for himself though, and that's just kind of the story of Kappa in a nutshell. Is over-aggression, 1v2s, trying to make plays, and they still come out ahead.
And something else that I want to talk about is there are lack of ward control. And that is because Kappa isn't really putting the wards in the right spot, I find. Pretty decent defensive wards, I must say, from the side of Lucian Alta 2-pack. But again, not enough to kind of see where the rotations are going, I guess is the best way to say it. But with regards to also Kappa, there's not enough wards to see if they're going to contest stuff, if they're going to come at them, or if they're flanking. And now that might cost them. They're going for the Scuttle Crab, but they're looking to bait this Baron, but I don't think that's the most worrisome that Lucian Alta 2-pack is kind of worried about.
Yeah, and if you are going to bait like that, having your full team there would help out a little bit more than having 3 people and Lissandra and Zed on opposite sides of the map. But now they're going for Baron. There is the TP up from Lissandra, and there is no vision for Lucian Alta 2-pack right now, and they do not have a Scrying Orb either to see. This is the exact reason why you get a blue trinket. And as you can see, Graves has a blue trinket, but no blue trinket for Sivir. Sivir would have been able to see this out here. They would have kind of just had their spidey senses tingle and go, where are they on the map? They might be taking Baron right now. Let's check it out with the blue trinket. Instead, free Baron going over to Kappa, and now they can try and end this game nice and easy.
In the ward spot, it's out, or spots this out, but there's not much you can do with just seeing the Baron buff. Right now we see they're sending Lee Sin to split push top. No one can really deal with Lee Sin. He has a timid for damage, he has a tankiness with the Randuins as well. And the Warrior enchantment on his jungle item, he does a lot of damage. They're going to send 2 to deal with him. Zed's going to just wait in the mix, see if Fizz does a risky play, which he does. Now he's jumping onto him.
Oh, actually flashes away, or else Zed would have been able to go over the wall and try to make a kill, but he goes in anyways, goes forward. There's the ultimate from Zed. Lee Sin does end up going down to Fizz, but Fizz goes down as well. So does J4. The ultimate from Sivir, the Zonia's from Lissandra. Let's see if she can actually make a play in the bot lane right there. She is going to be able to get away because Sivir decides to just stay safe and run back to base, but that'll be a free inhibitor in the mid lane there for Graves, and in the top lane, which is a big distraction pretty much for that mid lane. And in bot lane,
now it looks like he's going to rotate bot, yeah.
Yeah, and they should be able to grab actually both turrets at the same time. This is kind of just Kappa saying, we're this far ahead, we can actually do this. Like I keep mentioning, this is not the best strategic play from Kappa, but they've win the early and mid games so hard that they can get away with this kind of weird kind of split push. Lissandra and Graves, weird duo, but they're making things happen. Whoa, the heal from Sivir just barely keeping her alive. That's going to be the engage from Leona, the flash forward from Thresh, trying to save Graves. But unfortunately, EQ in from J4, and we'll see if Zed tries to make things happen. He's got a good slow there from his WE, and that's one of the things you like to see from a Zed, is you can help out your team with the slow. Moby Boots popped there from Thresh. Oh, and actually just baits him away with a little bit of dancing from the side. Lissandra's in the base right now trying to kill Sivir behind the whole enemy team. She might be able to make this happen. Can she do it? She gets the kill and is going to try and get out of there in time. But Fizz and J4 will probably have enough. There's the E from Leona. Oh, you should have saved that flash. Even, like, no matter where you flash, you're going to die after it. So just save that flash and just give yourself up for the team.
Exactly, and now it looks like they're just going to let minions kind of do the work. On the side of Kappa, just kind of going in and out, letting minions do the damage they need to do. It's a lot of damage they do, Baroned up minions, but J4's going back in.
Yeah, oh, it says the Cataclysm back in. It does get the shield there, but unfortunately goes straight down right after. And that is going to be Fizz killing Zed there. And Fizz actually opting to max his CDR there with the Frozen Heart and then the Iron Boots Lucidity. I'm assuming he's got 5% from Masteries to max it at 40% CDR. So that's actually not too shabby, because I like that, because I was mentioning before, when Fizz doesn't have his ult, he sucks, and when he does, he's okay. So just make sure you can get that ult up as fast as possible, and you'll be alright.
And it's not even just that, on top of that, Zed is ahead, Graves is ahead, 2 main AD sources. Armor, yes, they do have some armor shift. The Last Whispers and the Yomu onto Zed, and then the Last Whisper onto Graves is really good for shredding into that armor. But it's not really just that, it's also for the attack speed as well. Reduces their attack speed, means they can attack less, means that there's going to be less damage happening at the same time. So, next thing I'm going to say on top of that, well, Fizz is getting caught out.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part. See, old Fizz would have been able to kill Graves and then possibly either get away or turn things around. New Fizz, you just die. And that's why I don't play Fizz anymore, unfortunately, even though he is still my favorite champion. I just don't play him anymore, because the old Fizz, you can do ridiculous things like that. The new Fizz, he is a balanced champion. and that's why I don't play him. I want to play the unbalanced champions, the one where you can press a button and you say, hey, this game's broken. Xerath going down here to Lissandra. Lissandra just getting demolishing people. We saw, as you mentioned before, the Abyssal actually coming back in there. J4 jumping in onto Graves, but Graves should be already. Still has his flash up, not even going to opt to use it yet. Just dashes away with the combat stats. Thresh actually using the hook through Graves just to make sure that nobody touches his nice AD carry. The Lantern right on top of Lissandra. Oh no! Oh no! Lissandra actually doesn't get the Lantern, but she still stays alive. Will Fizz be able to make a play here? Lissandra is still alive. She's taking the turret. I can't believe this. Lissandra is still up. Zed might go down here. He opts to jump away. Graves has to be careful. Once the Lee Sin leaves, he might get jumped on. Yep, there it is. Oh, the Thresh hook actually misses, so Fizz might be able to make a triple here. Let's see if he can do it. He does. Oh, Sarah picks up the kill to just make it a double. Zed making the kill on the fish right there. Let's see if he can dodge the ultimate. He's just standing still, just eating the ultimate. He doesn't care. He's just going to take down the turret. What a man mode play by Organic Jokvar.
Now the struggle here is all the minions in the base. There is 3 inhibitors down, 2 Nexus towers down, and all these inhibs, and a Zed that can practically 0 to 1 shot you if he gets anywhere close to you. And that's what I was going to talk about, is his item build. If you look at his item build, he has his 3 main cores, but wow, Shut Up in War being able to snipe him out with the W. Nicely done, but they are really stacked up in their base, just clearing minion wave after minion wave after minion wave. I don't even think they were going to be able to make it out of their base at this point.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where when you literally have no turrets left on the entire map, you're in a situation where even if you win a team fight, the time you spend after the team fight, where normally you'd be pushing down objectives and stuff, you'll literally just be standing around your Nexus shoving waves, trying to make sure the game doesn't end. And they really can't push out on the map whatsoever. If they push out too far, the game's going to end. If they do anything, the game will end. They have to literally just stand in a circle holding hands around the Nexus and just slap their keyboard, push down those waves as fast as possible, stall out, wait for the inhibs to come back up, and then try and win a fight and push out, get some vision and map control from that. But it is looking super grim for Lucian Alta Tupac.
Yeah, and it's not even just that. It seems like you can see how much damage Graves can do with that red buff. Like you're saying, very, very slim for Lucian Alta Tupac just because of the amount of damage. 118k, sorry, I feel like gold in favor of Kappa and one last team fight to end them all, but that's not going to even happen. The game's going to end while the Nexus explodes right in front of our eyes. And GG, well played. Kappa taking the first game.
Yeah, Kappa going to bring the series to 1-0 right now. Lucian Alta Tupac going to switch sides with Kappa and see if they can take game 2. But a really clean win for Kappa. Pretty much the same thing as we saw in the previous game in the semifinals between Kappa and I believe it was Valentine's Club there, or No Valentine Club rather, where they basically just demolished early game, slowly pushed in mid game, kind of waited around, made some silly plays, but they were just way too powerful by that point, shoved down and ended the game by force. Made some cool plays, made some sloppy plays, but hey, finished it off in style, and they're going to be moving to the second game, one more win, and they are the grand final champions.
Exactly, and you get that 3,200 RP richer, as well as the Triumphant Rise skin, which is very, very exciting news for them if they can get this one win, obviously. Now, with that said, Kappa has been seen to almost lose games, so stay tuned into us, and maybe, who knows, Kappa may throw a game, maybe we'll see a pocket pick come out from the side of Lucian Alta Tupac again, like that Fizz top. I don't know, you just have to wait and tune in and see.
I just want to give a shout out real quick. I exited the game and there's something popped on my screen and I was like, oh my god, what's happening? Is my client crashing? What's going on? But actually, Miss Snow from No Valentine Club just gifted me Warring Kings in Italy. So shout out to Miss Snow. Thank you so much for the wonderful Valentine's Day gift. It'll keep me company and Nidalee can be my Valentine for this Valentine's, as I am forever alone. So thank you, Miss Snow, for that. Really appreciate it with the winnings there. And we'll be moving on to the next game. Just wanted to say shout out. Thank you so much, Miss Snow. It scared the crap out of me. Anytime something pops up on my screen, I immediately assume I've been hacked or banned or something. I've been demoted. Something's going wrong. So nice to see it's actually something cool for a change. So shout out to Miss Snow. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next game of our grand finals. 1-0 so far between Kappa and Lucian Alta Tupac.